Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, what are we going to be making?
We're going to be making natural plant dyes.
As many of you are aware, my family has decided to homeschool this year. And if you haven't seen my homeschooling curriculum video yet, you can check that out. If I remember, I will post a link. It's a little bit long, but it goes into all the different curriculum we chose and why. But one of the things we invested in, what was the company's name?
Blossom and Root.
That's right. And Blossom and Root provides us with our science, art, and nature study curriculum. And as a part of nature study, we are
doing
natural plant dyes, right? So we've been having some technical difficulties with our audio, so we've had to film this. How many times have we filmed this now?
3. So my mom's a little frustrated.
I might be a tad frustrated. But the first thing you need to do is find some scraps of fabric. Obviously you want to use white. In our case, I actually cut up one of his old undershirts, 2 of his old undershirts that didn't fit anymore. They didn't fit anymore.
Okay,
so we have 4 scraps of white fabric, and you want to prep your fabric. So that's the first step. You will need 4 parts of hot water to 1 part vinegar. So I used 2 cups of hot water. So how much vinegar did I put in?
Half a cup.
A half a cup. And you just need white vinegar. No need to get fancy or anything like that. Exactly. Oop, careful.
Whoop.
So we have our fabrics prepping here, and I'm going to turn the camera on to little man here, and he's going to talk about what plant-based items we're using to create our dyes. All right, kiddo, what do we have here?
We have beets here.
What color are we hoping to get from the beets?
Reddish pink. We're hoping for red, but it's probably pink. You can try red cabbage as well.
Awesome. What else are our options?
That's...
Do you remember what it's called? Spirulina.
Spirulina. I was thinking sopalina.
Oh, pretty close. So what color are we going to get from our spirulina? And spirulina is an algae.
Yeah. We're hoping for a dark greenish color. You can also use stinging nettle. I'm telling you all the substance.
You could try stinging nettle for sure. Or parsley maybe, but I'm thinking the spirulina is going to give us a really nice green. What's behind the spirulina there?
Turmeric.
Beautiful. And what color are we thinking we're going to get from the turmeric?
Orange, goldish.
Yellow, gold, yeah. And you could use yellow onion skins if you don't have turmeric. And then what's that last one back there that we're going to use?
That are dried out blueberries.
And what color are we hoping? Bluish, purplish?
Bluish, purplish.
And a good substitute would be blueberries.
Blueberries, blackberries. And a substitute for the turmeric would be sunflowers.
Now, you could try using like goldenrod or sunflowers. And what if we use coffee or tea? What color do you think we'd get then?
Brown. That's obvious.
So you've got lots of options and choose what you have available. This is what we're going to use. And now we're going to head over to the stove and show you how to prep all of these items to make dye. So we're over at the stove top. So know that all the dyes that you're going to be making, you're going to need a separate pot for each color. So we have 4 pots, and then we've got a nice big measuring cup full of water. For any berries that you want to use, you're going to need salt. So in this pot here, I have a half a cup of salt, and I'll get you to bring over the elderberries.
No problem.
For all of the other ingredients, the beets, the spirulina, yep, that's perfect. The beets, yes, the beets, the spirulina, and the turmeric, you're going to want a 1/4 cup of vinegar in each pot. And then what you're going to do is top up your ingredients, making sure they're completely covered in the water.
In the water.
So for this pot, Bud, why don't you go get the beets? So I've got a 1/4 cup of white vinegar in here, and we're going to put our beets. So remember, if you're using berries, their instructions say to use salt for the berries. And I'm working under the assumption that both the vinegar and the salt Perfect. Can you go put that in the sink for me?
Yep.
Both the vinegar and the salt are mediums that help to extract the dyes. So I'm just going to cover these with water too.
Oh, look.
I know, and we haven't even started boiling them yet. So next I'm going to get you to dump the, let's go with the turmeric in this one, the yellow one in this one. Oh, my slipper's on the floor here. All right, perfect. Excellent. And because it's a powder, you're not going to need a lot of water to cover it. I'm still going to add a bit. So again, for the turmeric powder.
In the sink?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. For the turmeric powder, again, we used a 1/4 cup of vinegar. And last but certainly not least, we have our spirulina. Again, with a 1/4 cup of vinegar. Perfect. And then you're going to top up with some water.
It's all a powder.
Yeah, because we're using powders, the instructions say to cover all the ingredients with water, but because you're using powders, I just kind of erred on the side of caution. I'm probably putting in about 3/4 of a cup of water in each one.
Can I see what's going on?
Well, next, Bud, the next step is going to take a bit of time. What you want to do is you want to bring, here, I can come down here. You can see me. We're going to bring everything to a boil, right? And then you want to simmer it for about an hour. So while we are prepping our fabrics, remember you've got your fabric prepping in water and vinegar, and we're going to bring these to a boil and let them simmer. So while we are waiting for our dyes, we're probably going to do some math work and come back and finish this in just a little bit. All right, so we have finished making our dyes. And they look pretty neat. So I did strain all of them out. They're all still pretty warm. So this is what we got from our beets.
This is what we got from our turmeric.
Yeah. This is what we got from the spirulina.
This is what we got from the other bears.
Yeah. So what you want to do next, and I've just wrung out the fabrics that we were prepping, is you want to take them and stick them in the dye. And I'm just going to use a fork to make sure, right, they're all covered. And then there's more waiting. There's more waiting.
All right, I'm going to drop this one in the turmeric.
In it goes. And you can use the fork to make sure it gets all covered up. I'll do the spirulina.
No.
So you want to make sure that your fabric is as submersed as you can get it. Some of them made more dye than others. The turmeric didn't quite make enough, so we'll really have to make sure it's squished in there. And then you want to let your fabric sit in the dye for another hour.
This one's got too much.
I think it's all right. There we go. And I would even just leave the fork in there because then it keeps it below, right? You see that? All right, so once your fabrics are in the dye that you made, you want to let it sit for about another hour before you carefully remove them and then hang them to dry. So we are going to now tackle what? Language arts? Yeah? Some Ralph and the motorcycle? Or the mouse and the motorcycle? So we'll go do that, and then once we're ready to hang them to dry, we'll show you what the end result looked like. Sound good?
Sound good.
So did you see those beautiful fabric squares hanging in the kitchen?
Yep, that spirulina didn't really work out.
Yeah, the spirulina gave us like a really pale green color, so I don't think that the vinegar was able to really pull.
But the turmeric.
It worked really well. Too bad yellow's not your favorite color.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were definitely hoping for red with the beets, right?
Yes, I was definitely hoping red.
But it really did hold the color really well. So in terms of using it for a natural dye, I just think the next time we might add more beets and maybe chop them into smaller pieces. So that way there's a better beet to water ratio. What do you think? And the elderberry actually worked quite lovely as a dye too, but it didn't really come out.
As a bluish purple.
Yeah, not really. It's more kind of like a dark purple, kind of brownish. But did you have fun?
I did.
See, now that's the best part, right? So comment below if you're going to try this at home. Either maybe you're homeschooling, maybe you want to make a tie-dye t-shirt for yourself, or maybe this will just be a fun after school activity for when your kids get back. Let us know if you've given it a shot and what you use to create your dyes. So until next time, we want to thank you for watching.
And
we'll see you on the next video.